Have you ever felt trapped in a financial maze, desperately seeking a way out? Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck, wondering if there's a higher purpose to your financial struggles? What if I told you that the answers to your money woes might be found in an ancient book, one that has guided millions for centuries? Take a moment to reflect on these questions. Let them sink in. Because today, we're about to embark on a journey that could revolutionize not just your finances, but your entire perspective on life and money. Hello, dear friends. Welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to explore a fascinating topic: how the timeless wisdom of the Bible can guide us in our financial decisions and transform our lives in ways we never thought possible. We're not just talking about a few tips and tricks here. We're diving deep into a real-life testimony of financial transformation through faith. Before we dive into this topic, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Your participation helps us spread this transformative message to more people. Let's get started. Now you might be thinking, what does an ancient religious text have to do with my modern financial problems? Well, buckle up, because you're about to discover how principles that have stood the test of time can be incredibly relevant and powerful in today's complex economic landscape. Imagine waking up every morning without the weight of financial stress on your shoulders. Picture yourself making financial decisions with confidence, knowing that you're not just working for a paycheck, but fulfilling a greater purpose. This isn't a far-fetched dream. It's a reality that many have achieved by aligning their financial practices with biblical principles. In the next minutes, we're going to take you on a journey of transformation, hope, and practical wisdom. We'll share the story of someone who, like many of us, faced significant financial challenges. Someone who was drowning in debt, lacking direction, and feeling hopeless about their financial future. But then, something changed. This person discovered a set of principles, rooted in biblical wisdom, that not only turned their financial situation around, but also transformed their entire outlook on life. This isn't just another financial advice video. It's a testimony of how faith, when applied practically to our finances, can create a ripple effect that touches every aspect of our lives. We're talking about a holistic approach to money management that goes beyond budgeting and saving. It's about aligning your financial decisions with your values, understanding the true nature of wealth, and learning to be a good steward of the resources entrusted to you. As we dive into this testimony, I want you to keep an open mind. Whether you're a person of faith, someone curious about biblical principles, or just someone looking for a fresh perspective on managing your money, there's something here for everyone. The principles we're about to explore are universal, practical, and have the power to change lives. We'll start by looking at the initial situation our protagonist found themselves in. Trust me, it's a scenario many of us can relate to. Then, we'll explore the turning point, the moment when faith entered the equation and began to reshape their financial landscape. We'll delve into the specific biblical principles they applied and how these ancient truths translated into modern-day financial practices. But we won't stop there. We'll also look at the practical steps they took, the challenges they faced along the way, and the incredible results they achieved. And the best part? We'll break down these principles and strategies in a way that you can apply to your own life, starting today. By the end of this video, you'll have a new perspective on money management. You'll understand how generosity can lead to abundance, how patience can be a financial virtue, and how trusting in a higher power can give you the confidence to make bold financial moves. So, are you ready to discover how faith can transform your finances? Are you prepared to challenge your current beliefs about money and open yourself to a new way of thinking? Great. Let's dive in and explore this powerful testimony of financial transformation through faith. Our story begins with a person much like many of us. Let's call them Alex. Alex was in their mid-30s, working a decent job, but constantly feeling the pinch of financial stress. Despite earning a reasonable income, Alex found themselves living paycheck to paycheck, with credit card debt slowly but steadily increasing each month. The weight of student loans from years ago still hung heavy, and the dream of owning a home seemed to be slipping further and further away. Alex's financial situation wasn't just affecting their bank account, it was impacting every aspect of their life. Sleepless nights were common, filled with worry about how to make ends meet. Relationships were strained as financial stress seeped into conversations and decision-making. the joy of simple pleasures was overshadowed by constant calculations of affordability. Alex felt trapped in a cycle of earning and spending, with no clear path to financial freedom or peace of mind. Does this sound familiar? Many of us have been in Alex's shoes, or know someone who has. It's a common tale in our modern world, where consumerism often outpaces our ability to manage our resources wisely. But Alex's story doesn't end here. In fact, this is where the real journey begins. One Sunday morning, feeling particularly low about their financial situation, Alex decided to attend a local church service. They hadn't been particularly religious before, but something drew them there that day. As fate would have it, the sermon that morning was about stewardship and managing resources according to biblical principles. The pastor spoke about how the Bible views money not as evil, but as a tool that, when used wisely and in alignment with God's principles, can be a force for good in our lives and in the world. He talked about concepts like tithing, living below one's means, avoiding debt, and being generous even in times of lack. These ideas were foreign to Alex, who had always seen money as something to be earned and spent, nothing more. This sermon was the spark that ignited Alex's journey of financial transformation through faith. It opened their eyes to a new way of thinking about money, not as a goal in itself, but as a means to live a purposeful life and to bless others. Alex left the church that day with a mix of emotions: hope for a new beginning, curiosity about these biblical principles, and a tinge of skepticism about whether they could really work in today's world. Over the next few weeks, Alex dove deep into studying biblical financial principles. They read books, attended financial management classes offered by the church, and had long conversations with financially wise members of the congregation. Slowly but surely, a new financial philosophy began to take shape in Alex's mind. The first principle that really struck Alex was the concept of stewardship. The Bible teaches that everything we have, our money, our possessions, even our talents, are gifts from God, and we are called to be good stewards of these resources. This shifted Alex's perspective from "this is my money to do with as I please" to "I am responsible for managing these resources wisely." Another powerful principle was contentment. Alex realized that much of their financial stress came from constantly wanting more: a newer car, a bigger TV, trendier clothes. But the Bible encourages finding contentment in what we have. As it says in Hebrews 13:5, "Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, 'Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you.'" This didn't mean giving up on ambition or growth, but rather finding peace and gratitude in the present while working towards future goals. The principle of generosity was perhaps the most counterintuitive for Alex at first. How could giving money away possibly help their financial situation? But the Bible is clear on this. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Luke 6:38. Alex learned that generosity isn't just about the act of giving, but about cultivating a generous heart that trusts in God's provision. Debt was another area where biblical wisdom shed new light. Proverbs 22:7 says, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." Alex had always seen debt as a normal part of life, but now they began to understand the freedom that comes from living debt-free. This didn't mean all debt was bad. Mortgages for homes or loans for education could be wise investments, but it did mean being very cautious about taking on debt and prioritizing paying off existing debts. The principle of saving and planning for the future also stood out. Proverbs 21:20 states, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down." Alex realized that their habit of spending everything they earned, and then some, was not just unwise, but also went against biblical teaching. They learned about the importance of having an emergency fund, saving for future needs, and even investing wisely. Armed with these principles, Alex was ready to make some radical changes in their financial life. But knowing the principles was one thing. Applying them in real life was another challenge altogether. Alex knew that this journey of financial transformation wouldn't be easy, but they were committed to seeing it through. The first step Alex took was to create a budget based on biblical principles. This wasn't just about tracking income and expenses, it was about aligning their spending with their newfound values. They started by allocating a portion of their income to tithing, giving 10% to their church or other charitable causes. This was a big step of faith for Alex, who initially struggled with the idea of giving away money when they were already financially stretched. Next, Alex looked at their expenses with a critical eye. They categorized each expense as a need or a want, and started cutting out unnecessary spending. Cable TV subscription? Cancelled. Daily coffee shop visits? Reduced to once a week as a treat. Eating out? Limited to special occasions. It wasn't easy, and there were times when Alex felt deprived. But they kept reminding themselves of the biblical principle of contentment and focused on the long-term benefits of these short-term sacrifices. Tackling debt became a top priority. Alex listed out all their debts, from credit cards to student loans, and created a repayment plan. They decided to use the debt snowball method, focusing on paying off the smallest debt first while making minimum payments on the others. This approach, combined with the money freed up from cutting expenses, allowed Alex to start making real progress on becoming debt-free. Saving was another crucial aspect of Alex's new financial plan. They set up an automatic transfer to a savings account each payday, starting small but gradually increasing the amount. The goal was to build up an emergency fund that could cover 6 months of expenses. This was challenging at first, especially when unexpected expenses came up, but Alex was committed to breaking the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Perhaps the most difficult change for Alex was embracing the principle of generosity. Even as they were working to pay off debt and build savings, Alex made a commitment to give regularly, not just to their church, but also to causes they cared about. They started small, sometimes just giving their time or skills instead of money. But as they practiced generosity, Alex began to experience a sense of joy and purpose that they had never associated with finances before. Alex also sought out accountability in their financial journey. They joined a financial management group at their church, where they could learn from others, share their struggles, and celebrate victories. This community support was crucial, especially during times when Alex was tempted to fall back into old spending habits. As weeks turned into months and months into years, Alex began to see remarkable changes in their financial situation. The credit card debt that had once seemed insurmountable was paid off. The emergency fund grew from a few $100s to several months' worth of expenses. Alex even began to explore ethical investing options, seeing it as another way to be a good steward of their resources. But the transformation went beyond just numbers in a bank account. Alex found that their whole relationship with money had changed. No longer was money a source of constant stress and anxiety. Instead, it had become a tool for living out their values and making a positive impact in the world. The principle of contentment had perhaps the most profound effect on Alex's life. They found joy in simplicity and gratitude for what they had, rather than constantly striving for more. This contentment spilled over into other areas of life, improving relationships and overall well-being. Generosity became a way of life for Alex. They found that the more they gave, the more fulfilled they felt. And surprisingly, opportunities for financial growth seemed to multiply. It wasn't that Alex was giving to get back, but rather that their generous attitude opened doors and created connections they never would have imagined. The freedom from debt allowed Alex to make career decisions based on passion and purpose, rather than just salary. They were able to take calculated risks, like starting a small side business, because they had a financial cushion to fall back on. Alex's newfound financial wisdom also allowed them to be a blessing to others. They were able to help family members in times of need, contribute more significantly to causes they cared about, and even mentor others who were struggling with their finances. One of the most significant changes was in Alex's overall sense of peace and trust. By aligning their finances with biblical principles, Alex felt a deep sense of doing the right thing. Even when faced with financial challenges or uncertainties, they had a quiet confidence that they were on the right path and that their needs would be met. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. Surely there were challenges along the way. And you'd be absolutely right. Alex's journey was not without its difficulties and setbacks. There were times when unexpected expenses threatened to derail their progress. A car breakdown here, a medical bill there. These challenges tested Alex's resolve and faith. But instead of falling back into old patterns of relying on credit cards, Alex was able to use their emergency fund or adjust their budget temporarily to handle these situations. The habit of generosity was particularly challenging to maintain during tight financial times. There were moments when Alex was tempted to skip their regular giving in order to cover other expenses. But they remembered the biblical principle of giving even in times of lack, trusting that God would provide. Remarkably, Alex found that maintaining their commitment to generosity often led to unexpected blessings, not always financial, but often in the form of strengthened relationships, new opportunities, or a deep sense of purpose. Lifestyle creep was another challenge Alex had to guard against. As their financial situation improved and they received raises at work, there was a temptation to increase spending and reward themselves. While Alex did allow for some lifestyle improvements, they were careful to continue living below their means and to increase their saving and giving along with their income. There were also moments of doubt, when progress seemed slow or when friends were enjoying lavish vacations or buying new cars. Alex sometimes questioned whether their new approach to finances was worth it. In these moments, they leaned on their faith, their accountability partners, and the tangible progress they had made to reaffirm their commitment to biblical financial principles. The journey also required patience, a lot of it. Transforming one's financial situation doesn't happen overnight, and there were times when Alex felt frustrated with the slow pace of change. Learning to celebrate small victories and to trust in God's timing was crucial for maintaining motivation over the long haul. Balancing generosity with other financial goals was an ongoing challenge. Alex had to continually reassess and adjust their budget to ensure they were being generous while also meeting their obligations and working towards long-term financial goals. This required wisdom, prayer, and often seeking advice from mentors. Despite these challenges, Alex persevered, always coming back to the biblical principles that had started them on this journey. They learned that setbacks were not failures, but opportunities for growth and for deepening their faith. As we near the end of Alex's story, let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible transformation that took place. From a position of financial stress and seeming hopelessness, Alex had moved to a place of financial peace, purposeful living, and the ability to bless others. The impact of this transformation extended far beyond Alex's bank account. Their relationships improved as financial stress no longer dominated their interactions. They found a new sense of purpose in their work, seeing it as a way to steward their God-given talents rather than just a means to earn money. Their generosity opened doors to new friendships and opportunities to make a difference in their community. Alex's story is a powerful testament to the transformative power of applying biblical financial principles in our modern world. It shows us that true financial freedom isn't about having unlimited wealth, but about aligning our use of money with higher values and purposes. So, what can we learn from Alex's journey? How can we apply these principles in our own lives? First, it's crucial to understand that financial transformation is as much about changing our mindset as it is about changing our habits. Alex's journey began with a shift in perspective, seeing money as a tool for good rather than an end in itself. This mental shift was the foundation for all the practical changes that followed. Second, we see the importance of education and community support. Alex didn't try to make this journey alone. They sought out knowledge through books and classes and found support and accountability in their church community. This reminds us that seeking wisdom and surrounding ourselves with supportive people are key elements in any transformative journey. Third, Alex's story highlights the power of aligning our finances with our values. By basing their financial decisions on biblical principles, Alex found a sense of peace and purpose that had been missing before. This alignment helped them stay motivated even when the journey was challenging. Fourth, we see the importance of taking practical, consistent steps. Alex didn't transform their finances overnight. It was a process of creating a budget, systematically paying off debt, building savings, and practicing generosity. This reminds us that financial transformation is a journey, not a destination. Fifth, Alex's experience with generosity challenges our conventional thinking about money. It shows us that giving, when done with the right heart, doesn't impoverish us, but rather enriches our lives in ways we might not expect. Lastly, Alex's story is a powerful reminder of the role that faith can play in our financial lives. Trusting. Lastly, Alex's story is a powerful reminder of the role that faith can play in our financial lives. Trusting in God's provision gave Alex the courage to make difficult financial decisions and the peace to persevere through challenges. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but how can I apply these principles in my own life? Great question. Let's break it down into some practical steps you can take starting today. Assess your current financial situation. The first step in any journey is knowing where you're starting from. Take an honest look at your income, expenses, debts, and savings. Don't judge yourself, just gather the information. Educate yourself. Start learning about biblical financial principles. There are many great books, podcasts, and online resources available. Some popular authors in this field include Dave Ramsey, Randy Alcorn, and Ron Blue. Create a values-based budget. Based on what you've learned, create a budget that reflects your values. Remember, this isn't about restriction, but about aligning your spending with what truly matters to you. Start giving. Even if you're in debt, consider starting with a small amount of giving. This cultivates a generous heart and reminds us that our resources are not just for our own benefit. Build an emergency fund. Start with a goal of saving $1,000, then work towards 6 months of expenses. This fund will help you avoid going into debt when unexpected expenses arise. Tackle debt. If you have debt, make a plan to pay it off. Consider the debt snowball method that Alex used, focusing on the smallest debts first for quick wins. Practice contentment. Regularly remind yourself of what you're grateful for. This can help curb the desire for unnecessary spending. Seek accountability. Find a friend, family member, or financial coach who can encourage you and hold you accountable to your financial goals. Invest in your future. Once you've built an emergency fund and tackled high-interest debt, start thinking about long-term savings and investments. Be patient and persistent. Remember, financial transformation is a marathon, not a sprint. Celebrate small victories along the way, and don't get discouraged by setbacks. As we wrap up Alex's story, I want to emphasize that this journey of financial transformation through faith is available to everyone. It doesn't matter where you're starting from or how many financial mistakes you've made in the past. The principles we've discussed today are timeless and universally applicable. Imagine waking up every morning without the weight of financial stress on your shoulders. Picture yourself making financial decisions with confidence, knowing that you're not just working for a paycheck, but fulfilling a greater purpose. This isn't just a dream, it can be your reality. But it starts with a decision to view your finances through a different lens, a decision to align your money management with timeless principles, a decision to trust that there's a better way than the constant cycle of earning and spending that leaves so many of us feeling empty and stressed. Remember, this journey isn't just about improving your bank balance, it's about transforming your entire relationship with money. It's about finding peace, purpose, and even joy in your financial life. It's about becoming a good steward of the resources you've been blessed with and using those resources to bless others. As you leave this video today, I encourage you to take a moment and reflect on your own financial situation. Are you satisfied with where you are? Do you feel a sense of purpose and peace when it comes to your finances? If not, perhaps it's time for a change. Start small. Maybe it's creating your first budget based on your values. Maybe it's making a commitment to give a small amount each month to a cause you care about. Maybe it's having an honest conversation with your spouse or a trusted friend about your financial goals and challenges. Whatever step you decide to take, know that you're not alone on this journey. Just as Alex found support and guidance in their faith community, there are resources and people available to help you on your path to financial transformation. And remember, this journey is not just about you. As you begin to experience financial peace and freedom, you'll be in a position to help others do the same. Imagine the ripple effect of financial wisdom spreading through your family, your community, and beyond. Before we close, I want to address those of you who might be feeling overwhelmed or skeptical. Perhaps you're in a difficult financial situation, and the idea of tithing or saving seems impossible right now. Or maybe you've tried budgeting before. and it never seemed to work. I want to encourage you. Don't give up. The principles we've discussed today have transformed lives throughout history, in all kinds of economic conditions. They can work for you too. Start where you are, with what you have. Be patient with yourself and remember that every small step in the right direction counts. For those of you who are intrigued by what you've heard today, but aren't sure about the faith aspect, I encourage you to keep an open mind. The principles of stewardship, contentment, generosity, and wise planning are beneficial regardless of your beliefs. Consider this an invitation to explore how these timeless truths might improve your financial life. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder. Money is a powerful tool, but it's not the source of true wealth. True wealth comes from living a life of purpose, from nurturing relationships, from being a blessing to others. As you embark on your own journey of financial transformation, keep this bigger picture in mind. Thank you for joining me today to explore this powerful testimony of financial transformation through faith. I hope you found it as inspiring and practical as I have. Remember, your financial story isn't set in stone. With the right principles and a commitment to change, you can write a new chapter, one of financial peace, purpose, and prosperity. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. How has this story impacted you? What steps are you planning to take in your own financial journey? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found value in this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others who might benefit. In our next video, we'll be diving into a case study on overcoming debt using biblical principles. You won't want to miss it, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. Until next time, remember, your financial transformation begins with a single step. Take that step today and trust that you're on the path to a brighter financial future. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.